Hi, I love Chicago, and I'm really thrilled to be here. I'm not going to solve your problem with unwanted gifts, but hopefully I'll give you some insight into how the material landscape is critical for you. So from the moment we wake up, this is really important, we're engaging with multiple products, environments, systems, and if they don't empower us, they're actually stripping us of dignity. And over time, if you develop a disability, or you're tired, you have a migraine, then the material landscape becomes more challenging than it should be. So, the material landscape, what I want you to do when you walk away from this today, this series of lectures, I would love you to go home and really review your space. Those products that enhance your quality of life and those products that strip you of dignity and really bleed the joy out of your day-to-day life. And we have a technical term for those in the design community. We call those specific items crap. They have no place in your wonderful life journey, so give them away. Share them with someone else. Christmas is on its way. So, I want you all to think about the first thing you saw, heard, or experienced this morning. You don't have to share any of this with me. When somebody asks me, how do I wake up in the morning, I would say my iPhone is set on 7 o'clock a.m. That often goes off when I'm actually walking through an airport or, I'm doing other things. But my dream is to wake up at 7 a.m. every morning. That is if somebody asked me the question. Let me give you insight into what really happens. This is what I see at 5:30 in the morning. This is my little kitten called Shlomo. And the joy of being woken up at 5:30 fills me with joy, even though I'm 1.5 hours early for getting up. So you have to, if you're going to design for me, you have to understand that narrative. You have to understand what matters to me. So if you ask me the question, 7 o'clock I get up. Can you hear me? If you were to ask me, how do I wake up in the morning, the question's going to be the iPhone at 7 a.m. However, in reality, this little boy wakes me up. And if you miss that connection, if you don't understand what motivates me, then nothing you design for me is going to make sense. We say one thing, we do another, and we possibly feel something else. This is critical to empathy. And empathic design research, and this is what I do in my classroom, this is what I do for companies, is it's not enough to design the best technology out there. That technology has to resonate with people. Otherwise, you're heading down a cul-de-sac, and I'll explain why. There are cultural norms in this room. If I had asked you all how often do you brush your teeth, most of you would say 2 or 3 times a day. If I asked you if you were cheating on your significant other, maybe less of you would be authentic with that response. I would hope you would be authentic. And so the point here is that research only goes so far. We have to realize there are barriers. And what I do as an industrial designer is I observe, I watch. I listen to that mutter, that murmur, and I watch microfacial expressions. Because products satisfy us beyond the functional. We're all carefully choreographed in what we're wearing, how we talk. I have an accent that people try and lose in England, but I'm trying to keep hold of it for my own sanity. And so there are things that we're wearing and we say and we eat that takes us back to a happy place. This was a very significant toilet for Abraham Lincoln in his home in Springfield. These are the kind of photographs industrial designers take, by the way, when they're on vacation. This was high-end, but in today's culture and society, our expectations would expect something else. We almost want the seat to be warm, we want it to flush, we almost want it to make a coffee for us. This is not acceptable today, but for one of our wonderful presidents, it was his local toilet. We're in an empathy economy. This is really significant. The products you buy have to satisfy needs beyond the functional. If they don't, psychological barriers build, and you begin to dislike, you begin to hide. You display products that you love, and you tend to put in your closet, your wardrobe, those unwanted Christmas gifts. There's a reason for this. You don't want to be reminded. As designers, we have to realize that our knowledge and understanding and appreciation of others has a boundary, a barrier. I can't possibly begin to design for my twin sister because she's lived in the UK all her life, she has different values, etc. So even somebody you think you know very well, you have to go outside your empathic horizon to design for them. And if companies don't recognize that that relationship needs to be developed, we end up with shelves and shelves of unwanted products in the retail store. There is a difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is when I need to gain insight into what motivates you. Sympathy is almost getting inside the rut and not being able to get out. So when I talk about empathy, I'm not talking about sympathy. That was not a very good explanation, but hopefully you're sticking with me on this. We have to imagine the world as if things have never been created before. But to do that, we have to be aware of what's gone before, not in a product evaluation way where we're looking at incremental steps, but if we want disruptive technology, we want to really expose the consumer to something new and vibrant, let's just take a look at what's out there already. We're looking at authentic human behavior. Do you remember how I wake up in the morning? It's not with the iPhone, but if you ask me, that's what I would say. So authentic human behavior is very revealing. One of the informal studies I did when I first came to America was to find out how people use toilet paper. It's a very modest product, and we all think we do things the same way. Trust me. In my informal research, and a good friend of mine told me not to share this with you, but I feel as if we're family now, so I can share this with you. Add on to that, I have no filter. You're getting it all here. This, to me, seems to be a country of scrunchers. You scrunch toilet paper. Don't deny it, people. I know you do this. In the UK, where I'm from, we're very proud of being folders and wrappers. And you mentioned somebody scrunching toilet paper, and really, I mean, it's a conversation for the whole evening. Equally, do you put the milk in the tea before you pour the tea or after? Again, I mean, I'm not assuming that we're going to have this conversation, but it's very surprising how something so simple, how much toothpaste, which foot did you put your shoe on first this morning? These are moments that are incredibly meaningful, and if you're not aware of this as a designer, as a product developer, as a brander, you're missing the point. We're in an empathy economy. Your clothes give you away. Your material landscape indicates to everybody your value system. And this is very revealing as well. That was the reaction I really wanted. Because if I was to show this and nobody reacted, there would be a significant lack of empathy in the room. We have to design for products that are underused, misused, and sometimes used in very surprising ways. Consumers are very, very resourceful. They will find a way to really repurpose the product you've designed. When there's a disconnect between your expectation and what you experience, this is a wonderful opportunity. For most people, it's a time to whinge and moan and complain. For industrial designers, it's to regroup and think, okay, let's imagine the world as it's never been imagined before. So this is, again, these are the kind of, any moment now we're going to have an image. Yay. People in Portugal are my size. Perfect height. This is it, people. Doesn't get any more perfect. Look at this ATM. Look at this cash dispenser. They've located the technology, and this poor creature has to stand on a concrete block. That's a disconnect. Not only is that, do you remember the technical term for bad design? Crap design. Yay! You're going to leave here bilingual, by the way. But then here's, this is me sharing some of my weird behavior, but it can't be that weird because I'm, remember, perfect. You got that? This is me using one of the first iPods when it came out. I'm loaded up with technology, but let's take a closer look. This was not set up. This was me being me, and that's authentic, and that's what we look for as designers. So the only way to experience is to experience it. So all of you out there, at some point, you're going to be touched by disability, by challenges, and so the way designers deal with this is that we conduct empathic modeling. Empathic modeling is really critical. It enables you to walk in the shoes of someone else. Not only if you've got a family member with a disability will it help you be sensitized, but it also help you to be more patient. And as designers, we look towards our emerging markets. And as we're heading into a huge population of elders, this is really critical. This is me at O'Hare trying to navigate the space with goggles on, with limited vision, retinitis pigmentosa. I end up with a coffee. I wanted tea, couldn't navigate the tea bag and milk, so straight away diminished. I have to put my walking stick away. So the point here is, this was recently, we're constantly learning. As we have a huge aging population, as designers, we have to look to them for inspiration and as a resource. There's person-to-product relationships that really help people use their products well. This is a wonderful range of products. Very quick view of this. I walked into a version of kind of a Starbucks in the UK. All these fruit juices were in the fridge. It was a cold, damp day because it was England. And these little fruit juices were just stood there cold. And they had these little woolly hats on. And I looked at these drinks, and you know, it wasn't just buying a fruit juice anymore. It was me rescuing, liberating that smoothie from a terrible situation, because it took me back to being a schoolgirl waiting for the school bus. And I'm not saying I'm typical, but when we look at products, they take us to a place. And what's happened now in the UK, because it's the UK and it's a country full of eccentrics, they now mobilize a lot of grannies who knit these hats. Those hats make money. They go towards the aging population. And again, so this is giving back. This is taken on a life of its own, only in the UK. So product to product as well. Where do you put your jewelry at night? Where do you put your rings? Where do you put your watch? Where do you put your Apple products? Do you find that the Apple products all find themselves together in a little cluster of loveliness? That's product to product. We do this. We buy a product because we know it would match the other product. Again, this is empathy. If a product doesn't resonate, doesn't empower, doesn't enrich, it's that special word for bad design. Okay, take it out of your lives. If the product is crap, it's going to lead to abandonment, underuse, and misuse. And that's the worst thing any designer wants to possibly witness. To conclude, the future is bright, the future is empathic. Thank you.